was requested by this gentleman, and he wanted me to eat some chili cheese hot dogs. So here they are. Oh, and how good do these look? Look at that. Whoa, nicey, nicey. So a bit of finger fluttering. Palm. King Kong palm. And chili cheese hot dogs now to drink. Do you want me to get you a cola? Do you want me to get you a cola? Do you want me to get you a cola? Do you want me to get you a cola? And as always, I've got the door, got the eyebrow, and I've got the paw. Oh, you do know when you've bought that paw, don't you? That is a very, very good paw. And loads of ice in this. And lots of water flowing. I might as well have water flowing through the lake or the stream that I have outside. Let's just do that, because for some reason all there is toilets flushing constantly. Oh, there you go. We can stop at the stream. There you go. My stream has just dried up for a minute. Okay, so yeah, these, first of all though guys, I've got to have a drop of this because I am drier than a drain pipe in a drought. Oh, it's nice. It's good. Okay, so what I'm going to do is have a start on this and then have a talk to you about something. I want to hear your opinion, guys, on this movie. Oh, I haven't had a chili cheese hot dog in such a long time. But yeah, last night I wound up the grandfather clock, put the fire on. It started getting a bit thundery as well, you know. I poured myself a cognac, put on the 35mm print of put on the 35mm print of An Inspector Calls from 1954. Please let that be the right one, because I'm not saying it again. Fantastic. Yeah. Turned it off again and put the 4K version on, which I have to say looked very good indeed. Now it's an old black and white the sort of earlier ones. So what it basically is, and this is the reason I have the clock going and everything else, is they're all sitting around a drawing room or a dining room, whatever. And they're celebrating the engagement of their daughter. It's, the parents. This guy owns this massive business. Yeah. This is set in 1912. We watched it because Travis Lassance, because she did like performing arts and went to drama school, and she did a part in this particular play. She was the woman, the fiancée, Travis Lassance. So she's like, engaged, they're engaged. And the dad has another son who is an alcoholic. He just drinks all the time. Anyway, all of a sudden, a maid comes in and says, "Sir, an inspector is here to talk to you." So in walks this inspector, and he informs them that a woman has just committed suicide by drinking disinfectant. She drank disinfectant and she's died. So their first sort of reaction is, well, what has it got to do with us, So he gets out this photograph, shows it to the father first. You know her? He goes, "Yeah, she worked at my factory. She caused a strike because she wanted more pay." Which I said no. So I fired her. He said, "Well, why didn't you give her more pay?" He was paying them like tuppence a month. He said, "No." He said, "I'm not paying him anymore." So he then says to him, "Well, what's that got to do with me? It ain't nothing to do with me that she's died, So he then goes to the daughter, the daughter or daughter-in-law, the fiancée, and says, do you know this woman?" Shows her the photo. She goes, "Oh." She goes, "Oh." Lots of dramatic music. "Yes," she goes, I was in a clothes shop, and she's trying on this hat, and she can't put the hat on properly. So the woman, the one who's now dead, had a little sort of snigger. So the woman said, "I've had enough of your insolence. I want to see the manager." She sees the manager. She says, "I want this woman fired." So she gets the woman fired. So now she is all part of it. Then she goes to the man who is marrying the woman, the said woman. Says, "Do you know this woman?" Turns out he does, but doesn't say. Goes out to the balcony or to the backyard, whatever. The fiancé says, "You know her, don't you?" He says, "Yes, but don't tell them, don't tell him." Turns out he was having an affair although he tried to give her money, in the end she said, no, I don't want it. She leaves the place she was living at, which was a flat or apartment that he was paying for, and she goes to the woman who is the mother now, the mother of the family. He goes, you know this woman, and then she knows the woman. Turns out this woman had gone to her pregnant, unemployed, homeless, and wanted money from this sort of charity. The woman asked her name, and she gave the name, and it was her name. The guy's name was something like, I can't remember his name now, something like Hudson or something. It's not, but it's something like that. She goes, Hudson. She goes, that's my name. She goes, I'm not giving you anything, and chucks her out. The poor woman who's pregnant by her son, she don't know that yet though. So the inspector says, well, don't you think you have anything to do with this? And she says, no, I don't. She goes, I had nothing to do with the gal. She said, whoever it was got her pregnant is responsible. So the inspector goes, well, that's your son. More dramatic music. So what have we got to say now? Sort of, I don't care. We have nothing to do with this gal. And it gets to the bar where it gets to the son who is drinking, and he goes out. So I hope you're enjoying this, guys. This, especially with all the atmosphere. Anyway, yeah. So it turns out that the son was actually responsible for her getting pregnant, where he was a drunk. He went to her apartment that night, got her drunk, and he got her pregnant. So he admits all this, and what he did was he did actually steal, I think it's £50 from his father, from the business, to try and give her money so she could sort of move on and do whatever. Then she refused it, and then went to the mother. So all of them now have all got a role in this. So all of a sudden the other guy comes back, who's engaged to the driver's license woman. And he says he's just bumped into a police officer that he knows. Now the inspector, he's called Inspector Ghoul, and this guy says this police officer has never heard of an inspector called Inspector Ghoul. So the dad immediately then goes, right, what are you up to? He goes, go and sit in there, and he sits him in another room in front of the fire on a rocking chair, and the inspector just sits there rocking back and forth. He goes, right, the father says, I'm gonna put a stop to this now. He calls the infirmary and asks them if they've had any suicides that night, and they say no, they haven't had any in months. No one's been admitted to the infirmary. So he says, right. He puts down the blower. He goes, well, that's good then. He's just a fraud. This is just a big joke. He says, thank goodness I haven't got to worry about it anymore. We don't want no scandal. We don't want no scandal. the fiance and the brother. Say, but what we did was still wrong. The dad says, I don't care. He says, as long as we're all fine, blah blah blah, you know, it's all good. He goes, right, I'm gonna go and tell him to tally off. You know, he goes in the room. The bloke's still just sitting there in the rocking chair. He goes, right, you know, my good man, I'm gonna send you out here with a flea in your ear, you know. I don't know what you're playing at, and blah blah blah. In the meantime, the phone rings. The son comes in, says, Dad, it's the telephone for you. Goes to the phone, he goes, you just wait there. And he just sits there in the rocking chair. Goes, hello. Goes, yes, speaking. Goes, what? What, you know, more dramatic music. Puts the phone down and he says, that was the police. He said, a woman has just been admitted to the infirmary. She's committed suicide by drinking disinfectant, and an inspector is coming over to question us about it. We go in the room, and the inspector is gone. It was originally a play, but what do you think the inspector actually was, guys? You know, he clearly wanted them to see what they'd done was wrong, you know, and to sort of face their guilt. Whereas the two of them did that, but the mother and the father didn't. They just wanted to keep out any scandal or anything that would harm them, their name. But yeah, I mean, it was very old and black and white, but it was very interesting, and as I said, it looked brilliant as well. It looks so good. Let me know what you think, guys. Have you seen it? Have you heard of it? Have you heard of the play? Have you seen the play? Have you seen any other movies? I don't know if they've remade it since that one, but please let me know in the comments. I've got more videos coming up, guys, and I will be doing a Halloween one soon because Halloween is slowly approaching, so I will be doing that. Keep an eye out for that. But in the meantime, have yourselves